we've now got empirical evidence to confirm what was long suspected. The richest Americans have a greater chance of getting into elite universities just by virtue of them being extremely rich. Call it affirmative action for the 1%. We know this because of a groundbreaking piece of research that was released yesterday by an all-star team of Harvard economists, including Raj Chetty, who's been dubbed the Beyonce of economics because he churns out banger after banger. I'm not lying. Look this guy up. He is...
I did not know that.
He's a legend in economic circles. So Chetty and his team utilized a unique data set of federal records of college attendance, parental income taxes, and standardized test scores to show how the top 1% have a better chance of getting into 12 of the most selective universities, even when they have the same standardized test scores and academic record as another applicant. So here are the main takeaways. Children of families in the top 1% were 34% more likely to be admitted to elite universities than the average applicant with the same SAT or ACT score. Children from the top 0.1% were more than twice as likely to get in. And I'm sounding a lot like Bernie Sanders here. And overall, 16% of the students at elite colleges come from the top 1% of the income distribution. 16% come from 1%. By the way, the college we're talking about are the kind that you have to found and sell a company in high school to get into in the first place. 8 Ivies plus Stanford, Duke, MIT, and the University of Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, this study was, a lot of people were just saying it was groundbreaking because they finally got to peek behind the curtain of the admissions data of these elite institutions. And yeah, what they found is something that everyone kind of knows deep down. Like, obviously, to get into the elite schools, it helps to be in the 1% income bracket, but just to see how stark the numbers were and how much it, like, the curve accelerated the higher you got up the income bracket was crazy. I also think that the athlete numbers were extremely interesting because, like, yeah, 1 in 8 elite college attendees were from the top 1% were recruited athletes, compared to just 1 in 20 admittance from the bottom 60% of family incomes. And so basically what that's saying is rich families have the ability to put their kids into youth sports. Youth sports cost a lot of money. And if you excel at sports, you have a much better chance of getting admitted to these elite institutions.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, I totally saw it. Like, I attended a school, I was an athlete, and you look around at some of the athletes and you're like, man, I don't know if you would have gotten in here without
your
athletic background.
The researchers did identify 3 sort of systemic things that allowed the top 1% to get in at a higher rate than everyone else. One of them is legacy admissions. They said that was the biggest by far, which we know some colleges are phasing out, like Wesleyan last year, but the majority still have. Then there was this private school angle where these guidance counselors at places like Andover have just a really good relationship with the most elite schools, and they're writing, the best cover letters for you. There's a tight relationship. So if you go to a private school rather than a public school, that's a huge leg up to get to these elite universities. And then the last thing is this recruitment of athletes, which gives them a much higher chance of getting in with the same test scores.
Yeah.
So what are the solutions here?
I mean,
get rid of legacies, get rid of recruitment of college athletics, and also this was interesting to me, put less emphasis on the resume fluffer stuff like volunteering or being a National Honor Society, because that is kind of what gives the wealthiest top 1% a leg up. Then people who are just like, well, I'm, of a middle class background and I just like crank through test scores. Like, I'm so good at academics.
Yeah.
But I don't have all of this, president of whatever.
Right.
And that is more heavily weighted at these elite universities.
Yeah, that's my big takeaway is that the middle class is kind of like the missing middle in this case, because people who went to a good public school but don't have the opportunity to do these like crazy extracurriculars, they were less likely to be admitted than the richest or even some of the poorest students with the same test scores. So there's this graph that's going around that shows the admittance, the average admittance rate for people by income with the same test scores, and you see like a bump on the lowest incomes, a dip on the middle incomes, and then this huge spike in the highest incomes. And so that was everyone's big takeaway from this study. It's like, dang, it's like really hard to be just a middle class person at a public university. They get gypped the most. Yeah. Hey, Thanks for watching. And if you want more Morning Brew Daily, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And also check out the rest of our episodes wherever you get your podcasts.
New episodes drop at 7 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, and you can email us at morningbrewdaily@morningbrew.com.